Thank you. Leader of Opposition, then followed by Minister Murimba.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to join colleagues in appreciating the committee for this report. Three critical things, Right Honorable Speaker. One, Uganda is host to the largest number of refugees in Africa. In fact, as of 2022, we had nearly 1.5 million, and that number keeps growing. Now, it's good manners, good neighborliness to let people who are running away from precarious situations, and you give them shelter and you give them a place of refuge, as it were. And we should not stop doing that. But I think we need to compel government through the Minister of Foreign Affairs to engage our neighboring countries, because Uganda should not be carrying this burden entirely on its own. This number continues to grow by the day, and it's having negative impacts back home. So we want to welcome refugees, yes, but can we deal with this situation? Can we engage other governments so that Uganda does not get to shoulder this burden alone? That's one. Number two, and if there's some kind of engagements, maybe the Minister of Foreign Affairs should update this House what exactly is happening so that we know we are not just sitting on this issue. Number two, there's a challenge of the host communities. I've been looking at this report and seeing how disempowered the host communities are. And now I'm getting more bothered about the host communities beyond just the refugees. So that, because this is the report, and the report is going beyond just the refugees. Take an example. In Ajumani, out of 3 counties in the district, none of them has a health center for, contrary to existing government policies of a health center for per county. That bothers me. I'm now more concerned about our own. Yes, let's welcome the refugees, but you see, in this situation, even if the refugees were not there, the locals are in a precarious situation themselves. In Yumbe district, 2 counties had no health center force, while 2 others had no health facilities at all. But how, in 2024, government? This is beyond now the refugees. This is about our own people, Ugandan people. And it's captured here in this report. In several others, we are talking about pressure on education, pressure on sanitation, and so on. Right Honorable Speaker, I think we need to compel government to be a lot more serious, number one, about the people of Uganda, and then by extension, the refugees. Let's welcome them, because even ourselves, you might find yourself in a situation that requires you to require shelter elsewhere. But as we do that, can we empower our local communities first and foremost on their own, for their own good, away from the refugees? Because like I'm saying, even if the refugees were not in place, these communities don't have health center force. How? It's not acceptable. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable John Murimba.
Oyo ye Honorable Joel Ssenyonyi, Leader of Opposition, Kunsonga z'aba refugees betulina mu ggwanga Uganda. Kyennyamiza nti eggwanga Uganda liba liri mu mawanga agamu gasinga okubeera obubi ennyo ennyo. Si lwakuba nti Uganda si abakozi, tukola, naye ensimbi y'omuwi w'omusolo eggwera mu famire emu eba gyezibika. Ne balema okukulaakulanya eggwanga Uganda oditwala mu maaso, naye ate kyannaku nti buli ggwanga erisaba obuyambi okubudamya abagwira, Uganda eyanguwa okuwanika omukono nti ffe mubatuwe, eringa eraga nti oba yeyina enteekateeka ennungi, yeyina enteekateeka y'abantu ababundabunda yesobola okubalabirira obulungi. Ekyewuunyisa abantu nti ne bannayuganda bennyini beeremereddwa, naye ate bayaayaana okuleeta abagwira abo basobole okubasenza mu ggwanga. Beebuuza nti kiva ku ki? Abagwira abo balina kye bagatta ku ggwanga? Si kibi okubeera okubudamya abantu abeetaaga obuyambi ng'abo, naye ate abali mu Uganda nti basusse. Tulina amawanga gatuliraanye nga waakiri gandigabanyeko abantu abamu ne gababudamyako mu mawanga ago, naye bonna babakayanira bagamba mubaleete eno ewaffe. kirabika nti baliko omugabo ogubajjirako nga gavumenti egufunamu, naye ate bwe banga efunamu lwaki tebateekerateekera ebifo ebirabikako ne babateeka nga mbufu obwennyamiza butuufu nga tewasanyusa. Ne bannansi bennyini bakyetaaga endabirira ennungi, naye ate mugaseeko okusaba abantu ab'amawanga ag'enjawulo nabo mubabudamye era mubawe obuyambi. Kyebuuzibwa nti gavumenti ebalaka ki? Haji Ssettuba omusomi w'edduwa yakutuusaako ebintu nga bino bye weetaaga okumanya, kubanga bino ffenna bitukwatako nga bannayuganda. Lwawuli ayinza okugamba nti ffe ebyobufuzi bitwabivaako, naye ebyobufuzi bigasa ggwe munnayuganda kuba bikwata ku ggwanga lyo. Gwe ne bwoba tobyettanira byo bijja kukulumba yonna gy'onoobeera. Haji Ssettuba yeeyama okubikutuusaako osobole okubimanya. Haji Ssettuba naakola ku nsonga ki? Asoma dduwa ku bantu abalina ensonga ez'enjawulo. Nti nze nalemererwa ngobye ku mirimu naye giganye sifuna mirimo. Akusomera ku dduwa ze omulimu n'ogufuna mu bwangu ddala. Banjagala kugendako bweru nammwe abayambira ddala ddala. Bw'omukubira ku ssimu eri 0703 31 39 25 tosobola kwejjusa, ojja kuba olonzi omuntu omutuufu agenda okukuyamba mu nsonga zo.
And accordingly, I would like to agree with your earlier guidance, Mr. Speaker, that if this House can permit, we can refer this report back for refinement to make us look neat, to make us look coherent with what is contained in our refugee policy and also in accordance with the International Refugee Convention to which we are signatory. Mr. Speaker, in 2009, a special summit of African Union sat here in Kampala and resulted in the Kampala Declaration on refugees. We have that on record. And we discussed and put out, but what hurts me is that this is a Kampala Declaration on refugees. And the report seems to have a lot of discord in accordance with that declaration. I feel a bit sad when we're discussing this as if we do not know, and yet this is a Kampala Declaration. I would like to plead with colleagues and members that yes, we register the concerns, and most of the concerns are indeed internal administrative issues. If you please, Mr. Speaker, you would guide that this report be referred, we refine it, and then come back and discard from a smart point of view. I beg submit.
Thank you. Honorable colleagues in the public gallery this afternoon, we have a delegation from Obong District Local Government. They are represented in Parliament by Honorable Maneno Zumra and Honorable Boka George Didi. They've come to observe proceedings of this House. And because of that, let me allow Honorable Boka to make a comment because he had been standing up. I think, please stand up for recognition so that we can welcome you once again. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, the Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, for giving me this opportunity to thank you for receiving and recognizing the presence of my district leaders, led by the Speaker as well as the district chairman in this august House. I'm equally very, very happy that they had an opportunity to listen to the debate on the issues and concerns around refugees and host communities. Obong is one of the districts in Uganda that hosts Palorinya refugee settlement, Mr. Speaker, sir. Unique amongst refugees hosting districts in Uganda is that whereas the district has only a population of about 55,000 nationals, 135,000 people in Obongi district are refugees. And therefore, when we are discussing and debating on this important issue of equity in access to opportunities for host and refugees communities, it touches our hearts. Refugees and host communities have a right. Government and the international community has a duty to protect, to provide, to facilitate the progressive realization of the rights of refugees for quality services. But within this context, we need, Mr. Speaker, sir, to be guided by the Global Compact on Refugees. That requires us to see to it that there is safety and security for the refugees wherever they are. That requires that we have access to services. But importantly, that requires that host countries and host communities are supported by the international community to ensure we provide in an equitable way services for both host and refugees. I thank you once again for giving me this opportunity. I submit. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't know, Prime Minister, wanted to... Oh, Honorable John has done an excellent. Thank you. Right, Honorable Prime Minister.
Right, Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, I can provide a brief report. Recently, in December last year, we had a global refugee forum in Geneva, Switzerland, where Uganda was recognized. We were recognized because of our policies, the refugee policies, globally. I represented the president, and the president was also honored in the same forum. Honorable Speaker and colleagues, in 1986, Uganda was an exporter of refugees. Up to 500 refugees were living out in other countries around the globe.
500 or 500,000?
500,000.
Okay.
And currently, Uganda is hosting 1.6 million refugees presently. I was a co-chair or a co-convener of this global summit. However, there are a number of issues that came out. The dwindling resources that are supposed to be brought here because of other global challenges. And so we came up with resolutions, and I request you, Right Honorable Speaker, that the minister in charge of refugees should be given space to come here and give a report of what resolutions we agreed on in that global summit. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, people who come to Uganda here as refugees come to, they come to save their dear life. They are running away from problems to our country because we are secure and we are peaceful. And we host them. We have a policy that allows our people or the neighbors to come freely into this country. And almost every month, I get people who come to benchmark on our policies in this country. The number of things that we need to put right, like I was in Isingiro recently. I don't know whether the Honorable MP, I'm told the MP from Isingiro, talked about the conflict that was existing between the host communities and the refugees. So we went there and put that right. Some of the issues that are coming up in the report are administrative, which we can handle. But Uganda is having a bigger position globally when it comes to refugees. Honorable Speaker and colleagues, I request that I end here, but at a later time, I am going to invite, because it's only Uganda, Right Honorable Speaker, that has got a minister in charge of refugees. That shows how committed our president is and the government of NRM when it comes to refugees. Honorable Speaker, I beg to submit.
Thank you.
Oyo ye Prime Minister Robina Nabbanja ku nsonga z'aba refugees ye mu kuzoogerako agamba nti Uganda lwaki yesinga okuŋŋaanya aba refugees abangi kubanga lirimu ku ggwanga eririna emirembe mu nsi yonna ng'abantu bwe baddukirayo waakiri baba bamativu nti bali mu nsi entuufu kubanga balina ebyokwerinda ebimala. Kyewuunyisa nti ate ne Uganda yennyini bannansi baayo bagiddukawo ne bagenda ne babundabundira mu mawanga ag'enjawulo. Eggwanga eririna emirembe, bannansi bangi bwe tulaba bawaŋŋanguse nga woowulira bino baliira ku nsiko, bawaŋŋangukira mu mawanga gye batalina bamanye, naye ate bo batugamba nti Uganda y'ensi erina emirembe. Kyova olaba nti n'abantu bali baasalawo nti waakiri Uganda y'ebeera ebudamya ababundabunda abangi. Byonna tujja biwulira, buli omu ajja kwogera engeri y'okwedifendinga, naye bannayuganda bamanye ekituufu kye ki. Emirembe gya Uganda tewali asobola jjukulaga, boogerako myogere.